Okay, Jocko, any advice you have to continue to work out at 4:30 a.m., but with 2 newborn twins at home? Because the struggle to stay awake is real.
Awesome question. And, well, I have 4 kids. The first 3 of them were born in pretty rapid succession. Not quite twins, obviously. But, at one point, we had 3 kids under 3. So, yeah, we were getting after it. And now, part of that, I got to, in full disclosure, I was deployed a fair amount. But when you got those young kids, here's what you got to do. You got to get it done. You got to get it done. And this idea that you're going to get it done on some pattern or some structured time schedule, it's going to fall apart.
Yeah.
And you got to both sleep and working out and every other thing that you're trying to get done in your life. You have to make it happen when you can make it happen. Right. You have to make it happen when you can make it happen. There's going to be no ideal time. You might be working out at 3 o'clock in the morning. You might be working out at 7 o'clock at night. You might be working out at midnight. You might be trying to sleep at noon. You don't know what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. I would definitely say when you got the young kids, get some kind of a home gym set up. At least get a pull-up bar. At least get yourself a pull-up bar. Because if you have a pull-up bar, you can do everything. You can do pull-ups, then you can do push-ups, you can do squats, you can do sprints. You can make stuff work if you at least have a pull-up bar. Mm-hmm. And then you just got to squeeze it in there. Right. It's a half an hour there. It's 20 minutes here. It's 15 minutes there. It's a power nap. Mm-hmm. In the afternoon. It's some squats while you're sitting there holding the baby, trying to get the baby to fall asleep. Mm-hmm. That's what it is. It's the stroller to the park with a chalk bag. So when you get there, you can do some pull-ups on the swing set. Yep. That's what it becomes. Because life is going to have a vote in these situations. And your kids and your family are more important than you are. And that's something that is a tough reality for the young dads to face. Oh, yeah. All of a sudden, you are not the most important thing in the world. At all. They are more important than you are. That being said, which I know I'm supposed to pay some kind of a fine when I say that being said. Somebody on Twitter hassled me about it. Yep. That being said, so your kids are more important than you, your family's more important than you. That being said, guess what the number one thing you need to do for them? Stay healthy. You got to stay healthy. You can't get all out of shape and turn into a bum just because you got kids. They're looking to you to be able to provide for them for a long time. They're also looking at you as an example.
Yep. That's a big one.
So you got to be the right kind of example. And physical fitness is part of that example. Yep. So they should see that from day one. They should know Big Daddy's doing some squats while he's holding me. Yep. Now, I'm going to double down. That being said, this is not a time of your life when you have newborn twins that you're going to be in the optimal condition. Right. You're not going to be at your peak performance. That's okay, right? That's okay. Mm-hmm. Hey, man, you got things going on. You're a dad. Mm-hmm. You're not.
New dad with twins.
New dad with twins. You're not going to be setting any of your PRs on your deadlift, right? Yeah. It's not going to happen. Yeah. So, but that's not a reason that you fall apart at all. Mm-hmm. You got to hold the line as much as you can. You got to balance this situation out. You got to squeeze in. Dig in. You got to be creative with your workout, with your rest, with your sleep. When the opportunity presents itself, whichever one of those is the priority, you got to go and get it on. Mm. And, it'll happen. It's not just when you have newborn kids. It'll happen with your job. You'll get some pressure situation at work, and all of a sudden you got to squeeze it in. Yep. I bought houses over time, and I would always buy these houses that were unlivable. Right? Just unlivable, just ransacked disasters because they were cheaper. Mm-hmm. And then I would go in and do these like speed remodels alone.
By yourself?
By myself.
Dang.
But, for instance, I did I gutted a kitchen in one of my houses, gutted the kitchen and redid the whole kitchen, plumbing, electrical, new counters, the whole thing. And I got it. I didn't get the countertops in because that was like, especially the guy was coming in to do that, but 72 hours.
Dang.
72 hours nonstop work. When I moved into another house, we pulled up the carpet. I thought there was these nice hardwood floors under the carpet. Pulled up water damage. A little bit more than a third of the floor, almost half the floor was water damage. So I had to yank those boards out and then sand this whole thing. And it was a nightmare, but it took me 72 hours of no sleep. Like I'd sleep for 20 minutes waiting for the next layer of varnish to dry, sitting there in the fumes, right? But that's what you got to do sometimes. You got like I said, a big project at work, something that's coming, and you got to figure out what you can fit in, when you can fit it in, and realize that there's benefit.
Yep.
There's benefit to that 20-minute little session you just did. Go do 100 burpees, right? Go swing a kettlebell. Just go swing. I was talking about the other day. I got kettlebell. I got the zombie bells, right? Yeah. But I got the zombie bells. I have a garage gym. The zombie bells are in my house because I'm walking around, and sometimes you need to snatch a kettlebell, right?
Sure.
Sometimes you got to snatch a kettlebell. So you have that, and that builds up because now you're just boom. You hit out. You're not even breaking into a sweat. Just hitting seven each arm. Kettlebell snatch. Maybe you're just doing that.
Yeah.
And so that's the kind of thing. Maybe, with newborn dad, you gotta have that zombie bell sitting in your house, ready just to hit some snatches, ready just to do some sumo deadlift high pulls, right? What's it gonna be?
Of course.
Make it happen. But get the pull-up bar. Or a set of rings. Get the rings.
Yeah.
Something that you can, rings are great because then you can do pull-ups, you can do dips. They're very, very versatile. Very versatile. But the bottom line here is your life is going to change. It has changed. So it doesn't mean, and you know what? Your life has changed and it just got better. It just got better. So what you need to do is you need to adapt to the new situation and continue to drive the excellence. But the excellence isn't going to be served up all at once.
Right.
The excellence is going to be served up in little chunks throughout the day where you can grab it.
Yeah.
And that's the way it goes.
Yeah, another tip, and I am a twin. I don't have twins.
Yeah, if you don't know, Echo Charles is a twin. And by the way, we've got some requests for the Echo's story. So maybe next podcast we can hear Echo's story.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. Nonetheless,
I'll give you 3 minutes and 30 seconds for Echo's story.
That's all I need. But no, when I had my daughter, and I'm pretty into working out, so to not work out was kind of hard, or not have the time. But here's the thing: I'm really into the luxurious situation, resting for a long time and getting really mentally ready, like taking an hour and a half to get ready for. I was used to that, so that was a big change to not have that much rest and not have that much time. So
and now you're doing Jocko podcast, you get even less
yeah,
rest.
Well, she's 3 now, so it's different. But a thing that helps on top of everything you said, which is, in my opinion, absolutely correct, 100%. To add to it is work with your wife or husband if you're a girl, and you guys have kind of communicate with them. Tell them that working out and staying in shape is important to me or whatever. And a good way to put it is getting unhealthy at this time with our new kids means a lot. If I do that, it means a lot to stay healthy.
Yeah.
So, if you communicate, that'll help as well because you can work with each other. You know how, when you have a new kids, it's kind of like one guy can, capitalize on a rest time,
Yeah.
And then, the other guy will kind of stand watch with the kids and the other person can get rest. So if you communicate, that'll help your situation so much.
Yeah. So I am guilty here of unintentional communications because if I when my wife and I, when our kids were young, if I didn't work out And quite honestly, if I didn't train jiu-jitsu,
salty.
I wouldn't recognize it, but it just would really like frustrate me.
Right.
And so eventually she said, you know what, just get your stupid ass out of here and go train.
Yeah.
Because I'd rather just have you go.
Yeah.
And that's when I'd show up at the gym at 8:00 at night. Like Dean would be done teaching class and I'd come in there and we'd train for 38 minutes.
Yeah.
Just go in there, get it on and come home.
Yeah.
So, try not to do that where you're a jerk.
Right.
But there's something, I talk about this all the time, that there is a mind-body connection that is undeniable.
Yeah, for sure.
And if you don't find a place to get that aggression out and get the endorphins flowing and get the good feeling that you get from physical activity, then you're going to turn a little bit nasty.
Yeah.
That's not good.
Yeah. And of course that
I bet you a lot of relationships really suffer from that and people don't recognize it.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think in my experience from talking to people, so that element of exercising and it being interrupted by new kids or something like that, that'll vary from person to person, right? So you being all nuts because you can't train, the next guy might not be that nuts. It might affect him maybe this much, maybe this much, it's different. And that goes along with what I said, like communicating actively, not
Active
like telling,
communication.
not you, like, doing what you did, but communicate. And at the same time, if you're aware of it, which it can be the hard part, if you're aware that you're just not as happy, just know that. So really kind of check yourself if you feel yourself losing your temper. I'm unhappy because I'm sacrificing a few training days.
You're right. The red flag of that's a great point. The red flag of, hey, it sucks having kids.
Yes.
The red flag, the reason you're feeling that is because part of that reason is because it's disrupting your physical activity.
Right.
So recognize that and then do something about it.
Yeah.
Communicate with your spouse.
Yep.
Set up a plan.
Yep.
Get a pull-up bar. Get a kettlebell in the house.
Yeah.
Do and make it happen.
Yeah. And
I think that's a good plan.
Yeah, and it's not going to be as luxurious as as you're used to.
You're not going to be optimum. It's not a time for
and
optimum.
a lot of times with me that bothered me.
Yeah.
I didn't really pay much of a price, for as far as it bothering me. When something bothers me, I don't like lose my temper typically, but I did feel that. I'd be like, oh my gosh, I don't have that much time, or I don't have the energy because I didn't get enough sleep, and it was kind of annoying. But at the same time, I did adapt, and I got real good at, like the exercise, like gymnasts can do it, like on a pommel horse or something. Where I'd go on the ground, I'd sit with my legs and feet out in front, and you can lift your
sit.
Yeah. Man, I got real good at doing that. But nonetheless, back to the jiu-jitsu thing. Two things. Yeah, communicate. Understand when you're starting to get a little irritated because you didn't train. Understand that, and then handle it accordingly. That's A. On the flip side, if you have to recognize, because this is a typical situation where now you have kids, yet you still want to go train jiu-jitsu, but your wife is like, how can you reconcile going to train with your buddies? Because a lot of times the girlfriend and the wife will think that that's just some fun and games. No.
In their mind, they think it's another relationship you basically have going on. It's like a whole nother
But they don't
thing.
understand the importance.
They're jealous of the jiu-jitsu.
Potentially, yes, and it's the spectrum. So it's important to like I said, communicate and let them know that it's not that.
Yeah.
And they don't always get it. I understand that. But if you just can communicate and effectively get the message that it is an important thing in life.
Hey, listen, darling, what's important to you? Because you know what it is, whether it's their running or whether it's their biking or whether it's their
anything
date
family,
night with their girls or whatever the case may be. That's what you've got. This is what I've got. Right. I got these two things. I got to work out. I got to train some jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
That's what I got to do.
But be fair, though. Like, if you're going 7 days a week before the kids and you still want to go 7 days a week, 3 hours a day, understand that, you got kids now.
You got to break it down to like six days a week. I was really bad.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
But it's, in a way, it's not fair, like not only to your wife, but to the fact that you have kids now, There's only so much Jocko can go around.
Yeah. I'm questioning whether I should tell this, but I'm going to. So there was times where I would come home from work in the SEAL teams, work until 7 o'clock at night. I'd come home from work, walk through the door, drop my work bag, and pick up my gym bag. My wife's there with 3 young kids, and she would be looking at me with the expression of, "Are you freaking serious?" Because, I'm only home for, let's call it 4 days. Then I'm going on another trip. Then I'm home for 3 days. Yeah. So those 4 days, she's thinking, cool, he's home for 4 days, family time. I'm thinking, cool, home for 4 days, nap time. But again, what she realized was that if she was to stop me, she's got a jerk in the house now. Not even, I mean, it just is. It's just the reality of it. Yeah. I just would be really frustrated with the situation. And all I want to do is just go train because it's part of who I am. And I want to get on the mat and I want to get better. And I want to, it's very selfish, right? I mean, all those reasons are selfish. But that being said, but the reality is that's me. That's me.
Yeah.
That's me,
change,
and
man.
you can't change
yes,
me.
You can. Well, of course. It's still going to be you, but, this is going to sound real obvious and cliche, but the whole compromise thing, when you guys have a bunch of kids, you got to compromise that.
Yeah.
And don't be like, hey, everyone else in the whole group, by the way, the kids even, your wife, everyone in the whole group, you guys compromise a factor of 8 out of 10. Me, I'm just going to compromise a factor of 0.5 because I'm still going to go to jiu-jitsu every single day for as long as I've done it.
Yeah.
And do all the things that you've done before you have kids. You can't do that.
Yeah.
I don't think you can do that.
Yeah, no, you shouldn't do that. But I am saying.
Yeah.
And I did.
Yeah, and I'm sure a lot of it because you're not aware a lot of time. You're not saying, you know what, I know I'm being a dick right now. And you know what, I'm okay with being a dick right now.
Yeah.
And I sure fall for not letting me train or whatever.
Yeah. I guess I might not have been the best husband in that scenario.
Live and learn, man. Live and learn. And it's I don't want to say it's good, but when you have new kids and especially twins. Dang,
yeah, no, I never had twins.
It does allow you to kind of reconcile what's important. Like let's say every Tuesday you went to Taco Tuesday or something like that and drank every Tuesday, right, before kids. Now you got twins. It's kind of like, man, really, how you get to honestly ask yourself, is that kind of stuff important now?
No, Taco Tuesday is not important.
Compared to kids, yeah, no. But you could say time with my friends is important and all this other stuff. But the drinking and just all little detailed things that you can easily go without. And in a lot of cases, do better without. But they're vices or whatever. When you have twins or new kids or just kids in general, you do get that opportunity to reconcile what's more important.
Yeah, you get to prioritize and execute.
Sure.
For sure.
That too.
All right.
Well, yeah, congratulations, twins. It's a big deal.
Yeah, no doubt. I hope their names are Echo and Jade.